Greetings everyone, Eric here, and welcome back to another how to make a comic book video. In this one I'll be showing you more or less the digital side of things with how I kind of finish up my comics. So, programs I'm using are Photoshop CS5 and Manga Studio EX4. Now you can do it with just one of these, but the method that I'm going to be using here kind of requires at least Photoshop. So basically what's going to happen is I got some scans here of pages. They're in threes because my scanner's not big enough to scan a full 11 by 17, so I have to do it in three sections. The top section, the middle section, and then the bottom section. All these are 8.5 by 11, roughly. So the general rule of thumb is that if you take an 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 11, put them together, guess what? You have 11 by 17. So here we go. I'm going to start up in Photoshop. First, what I need to do is I need to merge those down into one thing. So you can do it by hand by making 11 by 17 paper, putting them all together, and blending it yourself. Or you can go to here, go to Automate, and go to Photo Merge, which guess what? It does the work for you. So let's let this load up. See, just leave it in auto layout. It'll kind of do its own thing. Make sure it's set to files. Hit browse. Go to wherever your scan pages are. Mine are right here. I'm just going to pick these three. Once you have your three, it's probably safe to put them in some kind of order, like the way they're supposed to be. And then just click OK. And what it's going to do now is it's going to start putting them together by first opening each one and making a layer for it. So each one is going to get its own layer in this one file. And then what it's going to do is it's going to take those three layers, excuse me, and then it's going to blend them together after making a full-size piece of paper that it thinks is the full size. With 11 by 17, it doesn't always do it exactly 11 by 17, but it gets close enough that I can kind of work with it. So now it's going to do the blending section where it's going to actually blend everything based on what's on the video or what's on the picture. Let's let it do that. Basically, it's just going to be creating masks, which in Photoshop are ways of masking off sections so they're not seen, letting other sections be seen. So there we go. We have the full thing ready to go. Now, if you see it makes the mask, that's what these areas are. The black area shows things are not seen. So if I were to click this off, you can see it's been kind of chopped off here. And then you put it back on. And it does it in a way to keep it seamless, which is the whole point. It wants everything to be very seamless. So as you can see, if I get closer, there are no seams. You cannot tell where one started and where one ended. Now, don't worry about this comic. It's an older one that I did for client sample pages and crap. It's really ugly looking, but it's old. So I'm going to change that back to black. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the blue, which you can see there's still some blue here. First, I'm going to adjust the levels to make the blacks a little darker. So I'm going to go here to roughly about there. Let that load the preview since it's going to have a bit of a time. Come on, load the preview. Oh, it loaded it down here. Okay, it loaded parts of it down there. That's good enough for me, so let's do that. That would be my friend. Thanks, friend. Oh, I get what it did. I get what it did. I'm a derpy derp. Merge the layers first. Because then it's only going to make the adjustment on the layer that you're on. So now go to levels and adjust the levels. Just make everything nice and dark. Don't worry about the blue. We'll go with that. Then we go to image adjustment. We're going to go to black and white. And then we're just going to use a simple blue filter. You can use the high contrast, but what you'll see here, it leaves like white specks, which that's fine, but it doesn't matter because that gets rid of it and makes it even with everything else. So use the blue filter, click OK. Let me go away, my friend. Alright, so that's pretty much done with that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go adjustments, and I'm going to use the threshold tool to make it pure black and white. I usually go up to about 148 is generally what I like. Hit OK. And boom, that's pretty much it. That is all I do to get it ready for the final steps. Now what you can do now is you can go in there and any of these little specks here that you see, you can go in with a brush, use the X key to switch between primary and secondary, and just kind of brush where things need to be taken away, like that. If you come over here, I made a little mistake here that needs to be kind of corrected. So let me just get that. And any areas where you need like extra black, like you see the little speck right there. And basically you just go around cleaning everything up. Now, you could finish everything in here in Photoshop. Like if you wanted to add your text, you can just click text. I use Digital Strip, which is a free font you can find. You just click here. Blah, blah. It's a little laggy because of the video, obviously because I'm recording. And boom, you've got text now. I already added the balloons here. You can make them in Photoshop if you want. It's not that hard. But basically, once I've got this stage, I'm going to just quickly save it as a JPEG. But normally, once I get it kind of cleaned up the way I want, I go like this, save it. Once it actually does save, and then I'm going to pop you down, open up Manga Studio, and what you're going to do is you're going to create a new story. You want to make sure you make a story for whatever your story is. You know, all your pages will be in the story. You can either go down, click that button, or you can go to File, New, Story, or you can hit Control-Alt-N. So let's create a new story. Let's click. I'm just going to use my standard comic book thing. I haven't adjusted it yet, but that's fine. Let's see. Blah. Story. This is where you're actually going to come up with the information. The subtitle is basically what the understyle or what the under bit's going to be. So it'll be like Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. The Two Towers is the subtitle. You can set the stuff like display position, where this is going to display, where the author information, I can put my name, where it's going to display on this side, because I don't want it on the same side. The page number, I always keep centered. And this is the pagination, which is more or less for you. And so is this information. This information is a lot of it's for you. Most of it will probably get cut off. The apply settings thing, since we're making a new story, it's automatically going to apply to all pages. And then hit OK. And now we have a new story. There's our first page. Double click it to open it. And there we have it. There's the page information down there, as you can see. Generally what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go in here, grab that page, drag it on in. You can just drag it in, or you can actually, if you don't want to do that, I think you can go to... I haven't done this in a while, so leave me alone. Oh, File, Import, Image File, and then you would just browse for the image. But because I have this open right here, I might as well just do that. So just import as normal. You're going to need to adjust this. You can do it by hand, or you can kind of, to help yourself out, use the auto adjuster to kind of give yourself a little bit of a head start there. That's actually not too bad, really. I just need to make a few minor movements over and down a little bit. Yeah, that's about all I need. Obviously, I'm using the paper and not this Manga Studios thing, so I'll have to remake my template. Oh my god, my nose is so stuffy because of the winter. And there you go. Now it's in. It's already pre-pixelated for you, so you don't have to worry. And you can actually go in here and you can make all your adjustments that you want to do. So you can do that. Erase all these little bits here. Make sure things are closed off where they should be by using like the pen tool or the marker tool. It doesn't matter. I would probably use the marker tool with this just because it's a little easier. I don't have to worry about the auto adjustments. Make sure everything's closed off in case you're doing things that require crisp lines here. Wow, this artwork is so bad now that I look back at it. And now you're pretty much ready to go. You can start adding your text. You can start adding tones. So let me show you how to do some of the stuff. Okay, to add tones, basically what you're going to do is you're going to zoom in here. Pick your little tool here, the magic wand tool. You're going to click here, pick whatever you want, and then just click New Tone. Now you're going to choose how many dots are going to be in this little square area. These squares are tiled, by the way. It just tiles them all together. I'm going to pick 70. I want it to be darker, so I want it to be about, let's put it at 40. Okay? And then just hit OK. Now it automatically creates a new layer for you every time you do that. Now, it only creates a new layer if it's a different value. And then by different, I mean either the different dots or the different percentage. If it's the same in both, it's going to put on the same layer, which is helpful. So, for instance, like let's say I want these gloves. to be a different color. First, choose that. Make sure you're on the right layer. And then you just click New Tone. I want these to be a little lighter, so let's just go down about 20. All right. Oh, but oh no, I missed some. Oh crap, what am I gonna do? Oh wait, I can just go over here, click this tool, and then just paint that in because I'm still on the same layer. As long as I'm on this this little layer here for this stuff, it'll just paint it right in for me, which is awesome. And look, see, I even missed there. I can paint that in too. So look at that, cool, isn't it? As long as I'm on the same layer, it doesn't matter. And boom, we got tones again. So that's basically it for that. Now, next thing we can do is we can start adding some text here. So let's add a little bit of text right over here, the little text tool. Click that or hit T and click down. And now it's going to load the text options. Once I actually click, you can change the text font here. I'm going to change it to the one I was using in Photoshop. Where are you? I went past it, duh. Alright, got my digital stripping. So let's just type Manga Studio is awesome. Because Manga Studio is awesome. Put an exclamation point at the end of that. Alright, so obviously here I already have the balloon, but let's say I already had some text there and I was like, oh, I want to put something up here where he says something as well before he says this. Well, I simply put it up there and I go like this, digital balloons tab. All I do is generate, it makes one. I can tell it what type, either ellipse or rectangle with rounded edges. I can do this where I change what type of style it's going to have on the outside. Well, wait, let me... There we go. Okay, you have rough, you have your explosion weak, your explosion strong, which just thickens the line. You have your swelling, and then you have focus lines. So let's just go with that. We'll click that. Now I can also make a tail. For those who don't know, a tail basically just points to whoever is speaking. If I can get this to actually... There we go. It wasn't rendering. Now it's got a tail. Yeah, so sometimes you might have to finesse with the little thing. And then you can change the tail, you can change the curve. You can kind of change the position of where it's at. It'll automatically adjust for you, which is awesome. I love Manga Studio for that. And then you just click, boom, okay, and boom, you're done. You now have the text. And you can move this anywhere you want, as long as you click within this box. And then if you click within this box, or click on this, if I can get in there. Yeah, there we go. Once you see that little T above your icon, and you'll know you're clicking the text, and you can move the text, and it makes a new layer, obviously. And there you go. That's all you really need to know about this stuff, and you just keep repeating the process over and over again. So thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful. If you want any more info on stuff like the digital phase, just ask. You could probably find better tutorials for Manga Studio online. Look up a man named Jonathan Rector. He does really great digital comic book tutorials because he works digital, and he does a lot of great stuff for that. I'm a traditional artist, so I'm more the traditional side, but I do use the digital side for this stuff because I cannot hand letter for crap. So just keep that in mind. So go over there and check that out. Thank you for watching. Please follow me on Tumblr, follow me on Instagram, and like my Facebook page. All links are at the top of your bar, hopefully, if I edited this right. And thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions of more how to make a comic book series videos or just regular how to draw videos, please let me know. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Laters!